Yeah, hi, it's Russ from Pro Tools Expert. I'm with Nick, our old mates at Softube. Nice to see you, mate.
Nice to see you too.
Good show?
Absolutely. 2 days of, it's been hectic and everybody seems to love what we have here.
So are you going to rename the company Hardtube?
I mean, there's no tubes at all within this. Maybe just
hard.
Yeah.
That works for me.
Yeah. Hard.
Anyway, let's stop messing around. Neil's going to bring the camera in, and because they don't need to see our face, they want to see the gear. So tell us about it.
It's an integrated software hardware mixing system. Basically, it's a dedicated channel strip controller with a nice channel strip. Works with any DAW, Pro Tools, Logic, Cubase, everything. And it just makes your mix faster and better sounding. Softube's been doing analog emulations for years, trying to get the analog sound in the box. Now we wanted to take the analog workflow to the box as well.
So it's based upon a very well-known, you're calling it 4K, aren't you?
Yeah.
But obviously 3 letters beginning with S and ending in L, and fit a letter in the between, but obviously that's just a guess.
It's, yeah, right now when you buy it, you get an emulation of one of the greatest consoles ever built, because their layout of the channel strip is just completely brilliant. But we'll do other consoles so that basically you can have one console for the drum bass and another for the vocals, so maybe take the EQ from one and compressor from another on another track, so you can mix and match.
So talk us through it then. So basically, I think one of the things you've been citing is that you don't need to touch your mouse. Is that correct? Basically, everything can be done from this console once it's kicking. So it's a piece of software that you guys have on your machine, yeah?
Yep.
And then that's a plugin, is it, on your door?
On every track in your door, you insert a small plugin called the Console 1. It doesn't do much, you know, it's just a placeholder. And as soon as you insert that plugin, they will show up here in the metering section, so that you see all the tracks that you have, and you can select all the tracks with the track selectors on the hardware. So if you want to do some edits, you can easily go to the vocal track, work on the EQ, the compressor, set the volume, set the pan, solo, mute. You can group tracks easily. You can copy track settings from one track to another.
So can I just back you up then? Why would you group tracks? Does that mean you could group the tracks and then put the same compressor on all those tracks that you've just grouped?
Yeah, or do the same changes. For instance, I have 3 hand clap tracks here. Yeah. So I maybe want to change them simultaneously, set the same EQ to all of them. So I can group them and just do the changes, if I just want to increase the volume on all of them. Or I could just, you know, set it for one and then copy the settings to the rest of the 2.
Okay, a couple of questions that people are asking. Obviously, we like to try and head them off at the pass.
Yep.
One of them is, why is there no fader on it? If people are, because people like faders when they mix, don't they? And we get that this is a channel strip. We get that bit, but there's a kind of sense of, did you think about the fader thing when you were making it?
We were thinking about it, but on the other hand, it would increase the cost of the product tremendously. And we don't think it's that bad idea to have a encoder apart for the output volume. It's definitely smaller. So.
It is, and I suppose the second thing that people are asking is there's a lot of control set. My studio is already littered with controllers and things like machine, and then pads on my keyboard, and then all sorts of things. And there's the artist series from Avid. What do you think this brings to the table that the others haven't brought so far?
It is mainly the workflow and the sound, and the fact that it doesn't really interfere with the way you work. Think of it as you have this large console that you work with. You still have your outboard, you know, your favorite compressor for your vocals, your favorite reverb, you still patch those in, but you have your console that you work with, the EQ and stuff in the middle. This is the console. You insert it on every track. If you want to use other plugins, your favorite compressor and vocals, you can just insert that in your plugin slot, you know, as normal. So it doesn't interfere with the way you work. It just facilitates normal mixing workflow.
Now, I did see as well that if I owned like something like one of your other channel strips that you've already got, I can control that from here as well, can't I?
Yeah, you can actually load, for instance, the Trident A-Range EQ. You can select that EQ, and load it up into the channel strip.
Different model and a different setting and everything.
Yeah. So now it's actually loading the Trident A range plugin, but it's showing it this way instead of the normal eggplant colored interface. So you're actually running the Trident A range within this setting. And on other tracks, it's the normal.
Does it increase load on the processor? This extra interface in the middle of it all?
No, not really. Not that it matters. And the thing is, if you insert the Console 1 plugin on all the tracks, it will start in a default setting which doesn't take any CPU. It starts to take CPU when you engage the compressor or the EQ or start working with it. So you can easily just spread it out on all the tracks. And
cool, brilliant. So target price, it's not quite there yet, is it, while you're figuring out manufacture? What are you hoping to aim it for?
800 euros is the target price, and that's the hardware, software, the UK 4K emulation.
800 euros. That's fantastic. Brilliant. Well, thanks for your time. Always love what you guys do. Love you guys too. This is Russ from Pro Tools Expert with Softube. Thanks, Nick.